Hi guys, we're continuing with Around the World in San Francisco. It's 6:03 today. We left off at Bulgarian. Bulgarians are not listed separately in the U.S. Census, and the numbers living in the Bay Area can only be estimated. 1,000 Bulgarian-speaking people are believed to be in the greater San Francisco-Oakland district. This number includes not only natives of Bulgaria and their children, but Macedonians from southern Yugoslavia and northern Greece. They are predominantly members of the Bulgarian Orthodox Church, but some are Protestant. On June 3, Bulgarians celebrate the anniversary of the heroic death of the poet Christo Botev. Macedonians commemorate the death of Todor Alexandrov, the leader in their struggle for freedom from Greece, on St. Elijah Day, August 2nd. St. Elijah Day. An organization, Bulgarian Welfare Society, 44 Page Street, Restaurant Byzantine, Coffee House, 792 Folsom Street. And Canadians are included with British, Chileans are included in Latin Americans. Chinese. The population of Chinese in San Francisco, according to 1950 census, is 24,000. Two-thirds of these American-born. Two-thirds are American-born. Oakland has 5,500 Chinese residents, and there is a total of 33,000 in metropolitan area, an increase of nearly 40% since 1940 census. Except for a very few students and refugee families from North China, all American Chinese are from the province of Canton and speak Cantonese. The historical center of the Chinese American residents of the West Coast is in the section known familiarly as Chinatown, the area between California Street and the Pacific Street, from Kearny to Powell Street. Although there has been little Chinese immigration for 30 years, the high birth rate has produced a region terrifically overcrowded. During the war years, Chinatown burst its seams, and families began moving up the side of Knob and Russian Hills. In the last 5 years, Chinese Americans have moved to other sections of the city. There is an incipient Chinatown forming in the neighborhood of Larkin and Pacific Streets, and some families have settled south of Market Street and as far away as the Richmond District and Bayview. 75% of the Chinese Americans, however, live within walking distance of Chinatown. The main artery of Chinatown, Grand Avenue, is a paradise for window shoppers. Hundreds throng the city day and night, fascinated at the displays of ivory, jade, lacquer, brocade, and porcelain. But to really see Chinatown, however, you should walk away from the Grand Avenue along the side streets and narrow alleys. The street markets, the live fish and fowl market on Grand Avenue, the herb shops and music stores of Stockton Street, the goldsmith shops of Jackson Street, the stainless steel and granite memorial to the father of modern China, Dr. Sun Yat-sen, in St. Mary's Square, and Tsinghua Li's Museum of Arts and Antiquities in Old Chinatown Lane off Washington Street should be seen. Chinese classic dramas and operas are produced with oriental lavishness of costume and stylized gestures rooted in a 1,000-year tradition of stage lore during the season, which starts around Chinese New Year's and runs throughout the spring. The old telephone building on Washington Street is an exquisite pagoda. And the Buddhist and Taoist temples were established by the first Chinese to come to America over 100 years ago. Confucian philosophy has a strong hold on the Chinese. The rules and tenets laid down by the Chinese sage rule the lives of nearly everyone to some extent, even the Christians, since Confucianism is not a religion but rather a code of morals and manners. Followers of this philosophy are followers of this philosophy are heterodox in religious matters. Many Chinese follow the teachings of more than one religion, and many more find the teachings of Confucius sufficient moral guidance. 1/3 of the Chinese Americans have no formal religious affiliation. 1/3 are Christians, belonging to the dozen sects, and another third follow Buddha and the Tao. The tourist trade has given the Chinese community a disproportionate number of importers, shopkeepers, and salespeople. Chinatown is the commercial center for Chinese Americans of the whole of North America. And here are the firms that import art goods and foods from the Orient, now mostly from Hong Kong and Macau, and export them to all of the United States. There are numbers of skilled craftsmen in jewelry, pottery, bamboo, and rattan, and fine embroidery. There are thousands of restaurant owners and employees, laundrymen, garment workers. The city within the city has its own school, hospital, and law courts. In recent years, the young Chinese American University graduate has found greater opportunities in the larger worlds outside Chinatown and competes successfully with his white colleagues, especially in the fields of medicine, science, engineering, architecture, and fine arts. The principal holiday is New Year's Day, which arrives between January 20 and February 20. During this period, the Lion of Good Luck prances through the streets to the accompaniment of clashing cymbals and booming drums. Fireworks crackle all night long, and thousands of San Franciscans of all races crowd the sidewalks. October 10 Day is the anniversary of the founding of the Chinese Republic. And November 11 is remembered as the birthday of Sun Yat-sen. The Ghost Festival on the 15th day of the 7th moon in the early fall is the time to pay homage to the honorable ancestors. Incense is burned before the family portraits and often out of doors on fire escapes, and offerings of food and tobacco are brought to the temples. The churches are San Francisco, Taoist Tianhu Temple at 125 Waverly Place, Buddhist Kong Chao Temple, 520 Pine Street, also Kuan Yin Temple, Spofford Alley, Universal Buddhist Temple, 720 Washington Street. Catholics are Holy Family, 916 Stockton Street. Protestant Chinese Presbyterian, 925 Stockton Street. Chinese Baptist, 781 Washington Street. The First Congregational, 21 Brenham Place. Chinese Methodist, 900 Washington Street. Cumberland Presbyterian, 855 Jackson Street. Chinese Baptist Center, Clay and Hyde Street. Chinese Community Church, 1530 Sacramento Street. True Sunshine Episcopal, 1404 Powell Street. And then in Alameda County, Protestant Our Savior Episcopal 9th and Madison in Oakland. Chinese Baptist at 825 Webster Street in Oakland. Chinese Methodist 321 8th Street in Oakland. Chinese Community Church 1917 Addison Street in Berkeley. Organizations in San Francisco, Chinese 6 companies. 843 Stockton Street is the Law Courts and Information Center of Chinatown. Chinese Nationalist Party, Kuomintang, 846 Stockton Street. Confucian Society, 125 Waverly Place. Chinese American Citizens Alliance, 1044 Stockton. Cathay Post, American Legion, 1524 Powell Street. Chinese American Veterans Dugout, 33 Hanga Alley. Ding Kong Tong Masonic, 35 Waverly Place. Liandong Youth Club, 109 Waverly Place. Chinese Cultural Club, 871 Sacramento Street. Chinese Youth Club, 31 Hanga Alley. Catholic Chinese Social Center, Stockton and Clay Streets. Chinese Society for Promotion of Aviation, 810 Stockton Street. Chinese Workers Mutual Aid Society, 737.5 Clay Street. Chinese Peace Association, 146 Waverly Place. Cafe Club, 712 Commercial Street. Nanjing Musical Society, 143 Waverly Place. Chinese Sportsman's Club, 773 Sacramento Street. Chinese School, 765 Sacramento Street. Chinese YMCA, 855 Sacramento Street. Chinese YWCA, 965 Clay Street. Chinese Hospital, 835 Jackson Street. In Alameda County, Chinese Community Center, 316 9th Street in Oakland. Biu Min Tang, 389 9th Street in Oakland. Ding Kong Tong Masonic, 376 7th Street in Oakland. Sui Ying Labor Association, 712 Webster Street in Oakland. Dragons The Social Club, 715 Webster Street in Oakland. Chinese Students Club, 2600 Edna Street in Berkeley. China Institute in America, 2507 Dwight Way in Berkeley. Publications, Chinese World, Daily Independent, 8300 to 736 Grant Avenue. Chinese Times, Daily Nonpartisan, is this an address? Yeah, 7580 to 119 the Waverly Place. Nationalist Daily. Oh, maybe it's just address and suite or something. Chiang Kai-shek, 3760-809 Sacramento Street, Young China Daily Independent, 3985-881 Clay Street, Chinese Pacific Weekly Independent, 3574-751 Clay Street. Bookshop Service Supply Company, 835 Grant Avenue, or Hang Bookshop, 725 Clay Street. Restaurants, Tao Yuan, 823 Clay Street. Sun Hung Huang, 744 Washington Street. Sam Wo, 813 Washington Street. Hanga Tea Room, 1 Hanga, Nan Woey Loey Goey, 699 Washington Street. Theaters, Great China, Classic Dramas and Opera, 636 Jackson Street. Sun Sing Films, 1021 Grant Avenue. Grand View Film, 649 Broadway, and World Film, 736 Jackson Street. So that's all of that. The next one is, so Colombian is under Latin America, then we have Croatian culture. Of the 7,500 persons of Yugoslav stock in the Bay Area, about 3,500 are natives or children of natives of the provinces of Dalmatia, Croatia, and Slavonia in the Republic of Yugoslavia. Let me see. So, Croats from Dalmatia were among the early settlers in San Francisco. Arriving in their fishing schooners, in their own schooners around the Horn in the 1850s. They first entered the fishing trade, but later left the act of fishing to engage in business or on land as fish brokers and packers, merchants, and proprietors of seafood restaurants. They introduced the fig into California and have developed its cultivation into a profitable industry. Thousands of Dalmatians and Croats in the Santa Clara Valley engage in the cultivation of apples, prunes, and cherries. I didn't realize Dalmatian is a culture, but okay. Croatian Americans are also entirely Roman Catholics. On February 3, Dalmatians observe the festival of the patron of their capital city, Dubrovnik, Sveti Vlaho, Saint Blaise. Here in San Francisco, the observance is held on the nearest Sunday and is an occasion for wearing national costumes and performing the native Kolo dance in great circles of shouting crows. Church, Nativity, 240 Fell Street. Organizations, Yugoslav Sokol, 580 Eddy Street. Croatian American Hall, 34112 19th Street. Australian Mutual Benevolent Society, 225 Valencia Street. Sveti Vlaho Brotherhood of Dubrovnik, 610 Larkin Street. Croatian Fraternal Union, 580 Eddy Street. Slavonian Mutual Benevolent Society, 225 Valencia Street. Croatian Sokol, 810 Chester Street in Oakland. Publications, Yugoslav Herald, 223 Valencia Street. The next race is Czech. Only 2,500 Czechs of the first versus, so Croatia was 7,500 from Yugoslav, and this is much less. So first and second generations live about the Bay Area. This is a very small group in comparison with the great numbers in Chicago and Cleveland. Most Czechs come from the province of Czechy in Czechoslovakia, historically known as Bohemia. Thus, Czechs are frequently referred to as Bohemians. From Moravia and Silesia. Natives of Chechi also include some German-speaking people, Sudeten. The Czech community is organized into several social clubs and gymnastic societies, so-called. Most of the groups are Roman Catholics, but there are many free-thinkers and some Jews. St. Vaclav Wenceslas Day, September 28, is the feast of the patron saint of the Czechs. Czechoslovak Independence Day, October 28th. Czech organizations meet at Sokol Hall, 735 Page Street. In Oakland, there is a branch of the Czech National Alliance, which meets at 610 16th Street. The All-Slav Club, 522 Glen Avenue, San Pablo, has many Czech members, and the majority of subscribers of the Slav American News, 518 Octavia Street, are Czech Americans. We're going to pause here. So thank you guys. My page is facebook.com. Yosalplay, YOSALLPLAY. Hope I don't have a lot of stuff spurred on my page. Thank you guys. Around the world in San Francisco.